Who are those funding the terror guys in northern Nigeria? So guys, this is the second night former Ex-Agf Malami is spending in the custody of the EFCC. The EFCC invited him for questioning, and he has still been held there over terror funding. So guys, a whole lot is unfolding. Like somebody says, years back, it was Malami who was deciding who to be arrested and who is not to be arrested. But today, see what he's going through. That tells you that power is real transient. Now, coming to the north, if you can remember, not quite long, this former Major General Ali Kefi accused Malami of being part of those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. This man, Kefi, is a well-experienced investigator. He was a military general, but they forcefully retired him because he was exposing the rots in the military and the rots among Nigerian politicians, those who were sponsoring Boko Haram and their cohorts. This man ran a very deep investigation that exposed so many of them, and guess what? They ended up forcefully retiring him. Until today, he's still coming up to speak. He has recently accused northern politicians, even calling out people like this Malami and former military chiefs, you know, to be the ones sponsoring all these terror guys that you are seeing in Nigeria. And like you can see here, this headline here says, former Ex-Agf Malami detained overnight as EFCC probes 46 bank accounts. You ask me, what will somebody be doing? Is he the owner of these 46 bank accounts? So guys, a whole lot is yet to be told to Nigerians. God will help. One day we will really come up with a list of all these politicians who are sponsoring terror. They are sponsoring these guys on the ground, and they come out to pretend as if all is well. So under the Buhari's government, when Malami was the AGF, Nigeria was given a list from the United Arab Emirates to prosecute those they discovered sponsoring terrorism. Malami refused that list, you know, to be shown to Nigerians. Neither did he even try to prosecute those involved, those that were named. And today Malami is being pointed at as someone who is also sponsoring the terror guys. Some people have said, oh, it is politically motivated. But I tell you, for the fact that this Ali Kefi came out with Malami's name, it means that there must be something fishy around Malami. So guys, this is the second day of Malami spending his time, the second night or second day of Malami spending his time in the custody of the EFCC, and we hope that they are going to carry Nigerians along in all this. Like you can see here, this headline here says, alleged terrorism, EFCC detains Malami over alleged terrorism financing. And here, this was when this former retired military general Ali Kefi said terror suspects, alleged financiers were linked to powerful Nigerians, including AGF, former AGF Malami, former army chiefs, others. They were all involved when he did his own investigation. He found out that some of these people you see in government, they are busy there using the Nigerian people's money, funding terrorism to terrorize Nigerians. I mean, our money being used to terrorize us, the Nigerians. That's how bad it is. And their eyes were all fixated in Igbo land, saying, oh, it's IPOB, oh, it's nnamdi kanu. But the real terrorism is being overlooked in Nigeria. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at these videos and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
And do you know, I mean, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, you know, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest. Now we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort. Those elements that I mentioned, and investigation was ongoing, and the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia and other distant were collaborating with us and distant. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumbled upon names of individuals, prominent individuals, and some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, I mean, made our concern known, I mean, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military retired now of generals and the rest. Linked to many prominent distinct. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney General's of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case. So that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, you know, prominently that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it when I said, so this, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, you know, that perhaps he was misled.
You say Tahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the north. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're doing their best. They have challenges. Perhaps I'll come to that later. I mean, they listen, but they are doing their best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
yes,
and the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network in order to fight against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate?
No, we achieved.
Or that you failed?
No, we achieved. Because we achieved to an extent. Because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said, the leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us. I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals. They were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another 1 for 10 years, and another 1 for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were this, but they were never prosecuted. So, you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021 and detained for 64 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped. You know, a general being my headgear removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive. He was misled, and for that I forgive him, you know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for this thing. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by 2 vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding 1 division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the 4th attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course, you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this. So I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, that's when the news first broke, this day, and then you invited me to arise.
The investigation of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, over alleged corruption is now getting more intense. In the latest developments, the former minister has been detained for the 2nd night by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, after honoring his invitation for interrogation. Malami is being questioned over transactions connected with the recovery of parts of the Abacha loot, over 46 bank accounts allegedly linked to him and his multi-billionaire investment in Kebbi State. Ahmed Majid, the former AGF, he has denied any wrongdoing. He's called it baseless, he's called it all sort of names. But he's still in EFCC detention, you know, since Monday. What's really going on?
Well, he has been granted bail, but as at 11 p.m. last night, he's not been able to meet the conditions for the bail. Okay. Because, I mean, they can't actually hold him more than. But then, that's one of the allegations against him, which involves terrorism financing. That one is huge. So it's been investigated at the counter-terrorism wing of the Office of the National Security Advisor, which also works in conjunction with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. So, but when the EFCC invites you, if it has to do with terrorism financing, then they will move you to the counter-terrorism unit of the Office of the NSA. There are 2 wings. So I think that is where he is. But now to unpack this, really. You see, Malami's travels is a lesson to everybody who holds power today and who believes is very strong. Malami will tell you when he was AGF that Bawa is his boy and he put him there as EFCC chairman. Mohammed Bawa, yes. It says it all the time that Bawa is his boy. God used him to put it there. Things that he's not supposed to say that, which means he's telling you that with power, he can do and undo. And he has used Mohammed Bawa to do a lot of stuff to the extent that they are tracing some assets now that were seized by the EFCC to him during Bawa's tenure. And some of the things he did, recall there was a time the Nigerian Governors Forum had a running battle with Malami over $419 million.
Abacha
Paris Club.
Okay.
That the state governments were supposed to share. And Malami now claimed that they hired a consultant who was supposed to collect a certain amount, was supposed to collect a certain percentage of this amount. And the Governors Forum kicked that no, they had their own consultant, but Malami insisted. And also some of the allegations against him are, double payments of settlement fees for counsel who helped in bringing Abacha money to Nigeria. And these Abacha monies, I think we need to let Nigerians know that it is those, especially the one from Switzerland and the island of Jersey. It is the government of those two countries that invited Nigeria. Say, this money is here, come and take.
So there was no middleman.
No middleman, no consultant.
And he was getting money for the middleman.
They even be paid twice. And that's not all. There was this deal on Ajaokuta that the company involved, I think Global Securities Holdings Limited, an Indian company, told Nigeria that over 9 years ago that they are not interested in any compensation, that they are interested in getting Ajaokuta to work. But if they won't be involved, they are not collecting any money. Malami paid them.
Oh dear. Lots of things. How do you weigh in here?
It's quite interesting, and I like the angle that people should forget that power is transient. People should not forget that the power is transient, and these allegations are, in my view, they're very, very germane. There are things that every public officer should consider. One of them is he should explain how he got sudden 10 billion naira. We should also explain $322 million Abacha loot. Come and tell us how this money were distributed and were used. These are jamming questions. I remember on different platforms where, especially on Journalist Hangout, where you will remind the public officers that Abacha loot should not be relooted. It's very, very important.
But he's denying all of these things.
Of course. What we are saying is we are not passing judgment on him. But what we're saying is these are critical questions. These are issues that we are monitoring closely. This is not a media trial, but I just want to say that this should not be looked with any other eye, because some might say this is a political persecution, this is this, this is that. Excuse me. Just remember, for whatever things he must have tried, he has tried to be a governor. Like I said, it's about taking a lesson from his story. Many of them want to remain in power forever. After being a minister, let me go and become a senator, let me go and become a governor. But even as a senator, you don't have that immunity. But they usually like to be governors. So I'm not just talking about Malami now, but I'm saying that we will follow these cases.
To the very end.
Exactly, absolutely. And see what comes out of it.
BK, lots of things said at this table. But looking at what Majid said, does Malami's arrest represent a genuine shift, towards accountability for powerful former officials? BK, are you still with us?
Of course.
Okay.
It's not the first to be arrested. The EFCC is doing its job by arresting public officers and asking them questions. The fact that he's been arrested, detained overnight, does not mean that he's guilty. Why she slept in the EFCC cell? What happened? Nothing came out of it. His no case submission succeeded because they didn't have cast iron evidence. and people are not convicted on the basis of allegations made against them or what journalists say on TV. It is what prosecutors are able to do with the facts that they have. They must convince judges that, yes, this person deserves to be put in the slammer. So I found the allegation of multiple accounts. I found this really interesting because I know that many Nigerians, many big Nigerians, billionaires, this is what they do. When they steal money, they get people to open multiple accounts where they put all of the monies. So Malami has to prove that all of those accounts linked to him are not his. In any case, once the EFCC is able to, sustain that suspicion, once it is convinced that those accounts are linked to him, they will, and he say, no, they are not linked to me, they will approach the court for forfeiture of the assets or forfeiture of the monies in those accounts. So it's a win-win situation for Nigeria. That is the aspect that really entices me, because at the end of the day, we'll be able to find money to run the consumer credit scheme, to run the NEL fund. Poor students will be able to go to school. They will even get allowances, feeding allowances and all that. They will have their tuition fees paid from monies that Nigerian public officers, Nigerian contractors have stolen. So it's a good thing for us. So if the EFCC has concrete evidence that some accounts are linked to him, they should approach the court for forfeiture to happen in respect of the money that they found in those accounts. And we must get to that point. There's another point that I want to raise. When people are in government and they come out of government and people can see giant universities, big projects in their name, they should be able to ask them questions. Where did you get the money to build this university? Where did you get the money to build this giant company? How much did you earn as salary and as allowances during that period? This has been done in Malaysia, and they were very successful at it. So we should be asking people, if we don't begin to go after investments of people who have been in government, people will not stop looting us in a crazy manner, looting our patrimony in a crazy manner, and building giant universities and building big projects, building hotels. In fact, hotels is what our politicians like the most now.
Yes.
You see big hotels. It's all money laundering that we are talking about here. If we are serious about winning the war against corruption, we should begin to go for the assets of these people. Yes. Because monies that are meant for big-time road projects, monies that are meant to fund education, to fund the health sector, we see them being diverted. And people are building hotels with them. Politicians who could barely change their addresses before they got into office, we will now see them acquiring properties here and there. Some have bought nearly all the houses in our urban centers, and we are looking at them. We saw them when they were going into office. Some of them could barely feed. In fact, somebody told me about a man whom, when he was traveling, after his mother died, he was the one who gave him 100,000 to go for his mom's funeral. That person that we are talking about today is a multi-billionaire. He was in government.
How? I mean, how?
When are we going to? When will this stop?
Exactly. All right, but BK.
When will this stop?
BK.
So the thing, let them go. Let the EFCC do a thorough job about him. Yes. No one is convicting him. As far as I'm concerned, at this stage, he's not guilty. He has not been found guilty, and I will not believe any story until they have thoroughly done their job about him, and they have a vice-like grip on him, and they cannot escape. Because we've seen many of them, as far as we are concerned, at this stage, these are just allegations.
Yes.
We have seen big people. EFCC will make a lot of noise. At the end of the day, those people will escape.
All right, BK.
You will see that the courts will free them. So let the EFCC do its thorough job. If Malami is guilty, he's guilty.
Yes.
And if he's guilty, all of the big things that they told us are linked to him, hotels, universities, and other things, they should then approach the courts for the court to give them the power to take those things. If we need to auction them the way they did to former IGP, what's his name again? Tafabalo. Other people are using the houses that he bought. Other people have taken them over. That's the way it should be, so that in their lifetime they will see that the assets that they use stolen money to gather, Nigerians, other people have taken them over because they sold them. You know, that's the thing that I want to see.
So guys, still on Sharia law, these people want Sharia to be practiced across Nigeria, and that is why they've been fighting this hard to ensure they spread Sharia across Nigeria. If you can remember recently, the USA, one of the congressman, that is Senator Ted Cruz, was asking that the Nigerian government remove Sharia law from its constitution and also disbar Ishba group. This is the violent group that is, implementing Sharia law that ensures people in the north are practicing Sharia law. Now, the US said that, but a group of Muslims have come out saying they are ready to dispense their last blood to fight against any move to take away Sharia law. They said they are fine with Sharia law, that it is their law, that they are okay with it. So, guys, you can imagine the level of trouble Nigeria has found itself into. I mean, I'm just wondering, why is it still difficult for this country when people say they want to go, they want to secede, you see them as terrorists. People say they want to leave Nigeria, you see them as terrorists, and you want to impose your own religion. You see how dominating or domineering these the Muslims are. They are so dominating, they are so domineering. They come into a place they want to take over. Now Nigeria is like an Islamic project for them. They now see Nigeria as an Islamic project that they can just come in and, just do whatever they want. Now they are the ones pushing that Sharia law should remain permanent in Nigeria's constitution, when you know that the majority of Nigerians are not, I don't even know how we came about having Sharia law in our constitution. It's still somehow disturbing. How did we come about having Sharia law in our constitution? Honestly, I don't know how. And this thing has been silently lying there in the constitution. Even if not that Dr. Abati was saying it in one of his videos that it is there in the constitution, I would have hardly believed that we have this in our constitution. Honestly, it's really, really so sad that all these things are happening, in Nigeria today, because we cannot continue like this as a country where you have these people just taking over the country, doing whatever seems good to them, and they don't care about what they are doing. Look at the havoc the Northerners are causing the country. Look at the havoc. What is it called again? Out of school children is there. Poverty is in the north. All kinds of things. It's not as if there's no place without poverty, but when you have a large chunk of it concentrated in a particular environment, it becomes a problem. People don't like going to school. When I see these terrorists on TikTok, they are using phones, but they hate Western education. They are on TikTok, but they hate Western education. These are the benefits the Western education brings to the table. And you that want to practice Sharia law, you are tapping from what Western education is offering. Is there no, I don't know, how does the Muslims, the Islam people, how do they even reconcile this? You're on Facebook, you're using YouTube, you don't know these are products of Western education. If you want your Sharia law, you shouldn't even be seen in the open. You say you don't want Western education. Look at Shekau. They don't want Western education, but they will film and post. They will film, they will use phones, they are using sophisticated weapons. These are all products of Western education. But you don't want Western education, but you are making benefit from what Western education offers. Please, who can reconcile this? Who can really reconcile this? So when you look at the whole thing, it is so worrisome. Now, let's move to Imo State, where Hope Uzodinma made a tweet yesterday saying, I had the honor of receiving the ambassador of Islamic Republic of Iran to Nigeria. Ambassador, His Excellency, blah, 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 in Imo State Government Lodge at Sokoro. Our engagement was constructive and focused on exploring how Imo State can benefit from the long-standing bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Iran, with a view of contracting investment, enhancing capacity, and fostering sustainable growth. I am confident that the insight shared will support our ongoing effort to strengthen partnership and advance development of our day. How is Iran going to impact Imo State? What is Iran bringing to the table? Hope Uzodinma is one of the worst leaders Nigerians have. Guess what? Nigerians went out and gave him what he was looking for. You need to see the comment he received here. I mean, Nigerians, myself, I even commented, and this is my comment. I say, Hope Uzodinma, shame. By now, you should be listening to Imolites and asking them for forgiveness for what happened in Imo under you during Buhari. Imo lost many male youths. Start cleaning up so you'll be positively remembered when you leave office. That's what I wrote there, and so many people reacted. I mean, a whole lot of reactions from Nigeria. Dear Igbo, stay alert, ask questions, don't allow jihadists mortgage your future in the name of investment. There's no Muslim country that progresses. There's nothing a Muslim man ever invented in the history of humankind. Uzodinma will welcome asylum to destroy you all. And this one now says, okay, this person had to attack Raimo. Say, please take note of what Uzodinma, the Supreme Court governor of Imo State, is bringing to Owerri, a Christian state. And this one here says, dear Hope, how is this move how is it that every move you take lean towards the fact that you have everything against Igbo? And this is from accusation that your government had a terrorist activist in the east to importing Iran to the heartland. Okay, from accusation that your government had a hand in the terror activities in the east to importing Iran aid to the heart. I don't know what he said. Okay, we don't want official jihadists in our state. We are Christians, not Muslims. Waiting concern Islamic Iran concern Imo State with 90% Christianity and 2% traditional religion. If you want Islamic partnership, what happened to Saudi Arabia and Kuwait? What do you want with a terrorist sponsoring country? Can't you partner with Saudi Aramco to invest in energy in Imo? Hey, honestly. And this one here says, keep an eye on this Iran, on this man. Iran is a terrorist country. Can you imagine? And this one here says, from the reason we called for Biafra exit from the Islamic Nigeria is to preserve our Judo-Christian value. Nigerian government is doing everything possible to force Islamic practice down to our neck. Honestly. So guys, the APC, we don't even know what their agenda is in this country. I mean, the APC is something else. I don't know what their agenda is. In Nigeria, can you imagine? Iran is what Hope Uzodinma is welcoming. Hope Uzodinma has never done anything that people are applauding. Every time he goes against the wish and the wishes of his people. Really so sad that we keep having this kind of governors in Nigeria. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notification. Thank you.